As 2013 is coming to an end, let's look back at the 10 most bizarre events that happened this year in China.
First, the mad penguins. A penguin in Harbin Polar Park swallowed its own baby, which didn't even survive its first day. When the penguin father killed the baby, the penguin mother was just standing by and watching it happen. The couple had spent 7 years in this park and had already raised one chick the year before. After this tragedy, they were isolated from other penguins and closely monitored. No scientists can explain why this happened. Maybe 7 years of zoo life is like staying in prison, and they don't want their chick to continue its fate. Second, funeral for the living. A college student in Wuhan wanted to get lots of attention, and she finally succeeded by holding a funeral for herself at the cemetery. The Qingming festival is the time when Chinese people visit their ancestors' graves. On that day, Zhang Jiao's mother was shocked when she came to the cemetery to find her daughter's huge portrait there. Zhang said she wanted to conduct a funeral for herself, the way she wanted it. It seems she really enjoyed the funeral, and her friends were very cooperative in offering condolences in a serious manner. Third, shop owners in protest over ticket charges. This April, many shop owners in Fenghuang ancient town carried out a protest against the new ticket charges. The local government even asked the riot police to step in to calm the angry protesters. Fenghuang in Hunan province used to be one of the most popular resorts in China, and it was free to travel there. But the local government wanted a larger share of the booming tourism industry and started to charge 148 RMB per entry to the town itself, the equivalent of over $24. The new charges have kept many tourists away, and that has had a very damaging effect on small businesses in and around the ancient town. Fourth, Qingdao Algae disaster. This summer, Qingdao City suffered from a surfeit of hutai, which is a kind of seaweed. How did they deal with it? Well, they ate it. The beaches were completely covered in this green stuff. Thousands of people were sent to the beach and collected 50,000 tons of the stuff, but had nowhere to store it. The local restaurants thought up a few creative recipes to attract people, such as hutai pancakes, hutai soup, and hutai salad. The only problem was whether you'd be happy to eat this stuff that might have been trampled underfoot. Fifth, Dao Ci Yi You. A 14-year-old Chinese boy wrote Ding Jinhao Dao Ci Yi You, which literally means Ding has visited here, on a 3,500-year-old Luxor temple in Egypt. It led to worldwide criticism, not only of this boy, but also of Chinese tourists' graffiti habits. After this incident, several scenic places in China offered special boards or stones for tourists to write their names, or anything they like. This isn't justifying the act of graffiti, because so many tourists feel the need to do so. It's just another way of saying, if you can't beat them, join them. Sixth, kneel down to meet the Buddha. When the newly built bronze Buddha was open in Jiangxi province, tourists found signs halfway up to it, and they said, please kneel down every 3 steps on the way up to the Buddha, and please obey the Buddhist rule. This meant if you wanted to get to the statue, you had to kneel down around 100 times. This rule was widely criticized on the internet, as this Buddhist practice is usually voluntary for worshippers, rather than a requirement. China has lots of other Buddha statues, but not one of them asks tourists to do this. Eventually, the administration office apologized and explained that it was actually to limit the number of tourists, as the platform was still under construction. 7. A payout if you can't see the moon. A Chinese insurance company offers customers money if the moon is not visible on the 15th day of the 8th month, according to the Chinese lunar calendar. That day is the Mid-Autumn Festival, the day of the year when the moon is at its fullest. On that day, there is a chance the clouds could block your view. If that's the case, a customer who paid 20 RMB could later claim 50 RMB, and anyone who paid 99 RMB could claim 188 RMB. And how do you establish whether the moon will be visible in your city? Well, it depends on the weather report. If the weather report claims the weather is fine, but you still can't see the moon, you are not able to get your compensation. The report acts as evidence. 8. Magic rock cures disease. In Lhasa, you'll find lots of people lining up here every day to be cured by a rock. It's said that it can cure any disease, and surprisingly enough, it's even more popular than doctors. Over time, it's been rubbed so much that it's turned a shiny black, but local people suggest that if your disease becomes extremely serious, you'd better go to hospital, as integrating the 2 methods together is better. 9th, Red Guards Cemetery. The tomb inscriptions at the Red Guards Cemetery say, "Sacrificed to defend the revolution of Chairman Mao," and revolution is innocent, rebellion is justified. This year, there were rumors that the Chongqing Red Guard Cemetery would be open to the public. They were then confirmed as untrue. This incident reminded people of the fascinating history of the Cultural Revolution. Frequent violent incidents happened between two large gangs of Red Guards. 400 people were buried in this cemetery alone, and this is only one of 24 burial sites. 10th, a rock to challenge the Australian Ayers rock. Churchill County of Hebei declared that a huge rock in their hometown, called Dripping Cliff, should get more attention and fame than Ayers Rock in Australia. And the reason? It's much larger than Ayers Rock. Well, there must be many more rocks larger than Ayers Rock, or even Dripping Cliff. But whether that can be a claim to fame is really questionable. This advertisement was certainly far-fetched.